Welcome back on Friday morning to video number 2. The royal family is super busy, so let's just jump in and cover what they have, shall we? Let's go. I'm going to start with Sarah Ferguson. Now, I know she's not a working royal, you guys, but we also know she underwent treatment for breast cancer. She had a mastectomy and reconstructive surgery, and we know the whole thing. Anyway, she arrived at the Prevent Breast Cancer headquarters in Manchester because she was just announced as the charity's new patron. She also met Coronation Street actor Sally, I hope I'm saying this right, Dinavore, who's also a patron of that particular charity. I think that's lovely. So maybe they are trying to work her back in, but she does still carry the name of Duchess. And before anybody says anything, she never once said one bad word about the royal family, not one. All right, moving on. Next up is one of Sarah's daughters, Princess Eugenie, who is also not a quote-unquote working royal. Well, people are really starting to like her because she did an incognito visit a week ago to a charity, and the pictures just came out. It was a secret stop at the Salvation Army last week to meet survivors of modern slavery. So maybe they're, looking at her becoming a working royal. Also, people were really loving her clothing. Now we're going to look at the other daughter, Beatrice, who we know is pregnant. She went to an event at the Royal Academy of Arts in London. This took place on the 8th. It was a Art of Wishes lunch. This looks like a really good charity. The lunch is supposed to bring together art and fashion to help raise money for the Make-A-Wish UK, which I think you guys already know. I think that's an excellent charity. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce, as usual, for showing us what she was wearing. Let's move on. Sophie and Edward are still in Malta, and one of their stops on day 3 was to tour a villa and hear about the restoration work taking place there. This is the former residence of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip when they lived there between 1949 and 1951, while Philip was stationed in Malta as a Royal Navy officer. If I remember correctly, I believe the Queen said that this was one of the happiest times in their life because they were able to be just husband and wife without a lot of the responsibilities. Well, they took the tour of the house. They walked through an exhibition of photos of Queen Elizabeth and Philip that was set up in the garden. And then they went near a balcony and pictures were taken, and a big thank you to Blue Ivy for these photos, because basically what they did, they recreated the photos of the Queen and Philip standing in the same area on the same roof balcony area, decades ago. I just think that's lovely. Now remember, we're still on day 3. So the next thing that happened was the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh went to St. Paul's Anglican Pro Cathedral in Valletta. This was an ecumenical service, and it was done to celebrate the relationship between the UK and Malta. As soon as the service was over, of course, they walked outside. There were large crowds, and they did the obligatory standing around, for the photos that has to happen. People were very happy to see them waving. They took the obligatory photos, and then they went into the crowd, and one of the first things they did was Sophie got to speak to some members of the choir, while Edward spoke to 2 boys from the Royal Marines Charity Trust. Now, this took place in a reception that took place right after the service. Before they left, they had a plaque unveiling, and it marked the restoration of the cathedral bells. And again, that took place after the service. When the church service was over, they remained in Valletta, but they headed over to visit the First National Library in Valletta, and they viewed some artifacts linked to the UK-Malta relations, including letters from Queen Elizabeth II inaugurating the first Parliament. I have to be honest, these pictures are quite impressive. It looks like a beautiful library. That's the kind of place I'd like to, look at that. What a beautiful building. I think I'd like to go to this area one day. Okay, they left there. They went on to the next stop. No, wait, before they left, though, they did the obligatory signing of the visitor's book. Now, when this was over, they weren't done yet. Sophie headed over to the Daphne Memorial, where she laid some flowers. And for those of you who don't know, she was a journalist who was killed in a car bomb in October of 2017. I don't believe that they have found her killer. Moving on. Still on their third day, Sophie went and had a panel discussion at the police force there on how to improve its approach to support victims of crime, especially ones that are gender-based violence and human trafficking. We know that's a big thing for her. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what she was wearing. Let's move on now to William. Next, we have Prince William. What he did was really cool. He took the Royal African Society and the young filmmakers of BAFTA, and he put them together in an event that showcased the importance of supporting young people in film, television, and the gaming industry. This event happened on October 9th, and basically the message from the Prince of Wales was that it was very important that people from all backgrounds are offered a chance to pursue creative careers and to bring their stories to life. Now, one of the things he told everybody was that apparently Charlotte, George, and Louis all wrestle over the remote. Well, who the heck has a house full of children that don't wrestle over the remote? Apparently, this took place at Piccadilly. And he met with some of the students who've been working on the Royal African Society on their upcoming film African Festival. Wow, I think that's something I'd like to see. Film Africa, which runs during Black History Month, is the largest festival for African heritage filmmakers in Europe, and this year will be their 11th year. And let's not forget that William has been president of BAFTA since 2010, and he attended the BAFTAs in February without Catherine because we knew that she was doing chemo at the time. So I think he's doing a great job. Some of the people present during this are production assistants, costume designers, writers, game designers, camera and sound trainees, and they're all finding out how the grants that they're getting allow them to accelerate their careers. Fabulous. All right, let's move on. Next up, for those of you who don't know, it was the Duke of Kent's birthday. He turned 89, and this is a man who doesn't stop. He has continued to work really, really hard. I just love him. Now, he is married. His wife is Catherine. She's 91. She has kept a very low profile since she stepped back from her royal duties in 1996. And in 2002, she decided to not style herself Her Royal Highness, saying just, call me Catherine. I love that. She is a former music teacher who co-founded the charity Future Talent. You never see her in public ever. Anyway, they've been in this same home since 1978. It's a 5-bedroom cottage. Anyway, in celebration of the Duke's birthday, 3 pipers from the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards, and let's not forget he is the Deputy Colonel-in-Chief of that same group, performed for him in front of his house. And if you look at the picture, Prince Michael of Kent was also present. And let's not forget that Edward is the oldest child of the late Princess Marina, Duchess of Kent, and Prince George, Duke of Kent. And so Prince Michael of Kent is his brother, in case you're unaware. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Put those comments down, hit the like and the subscribe and the bell for all notifications, although YouTube probably will not notify you. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, which is currently paused, my Amazon wish list, and a physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.